Howdy, Dennis Bradford here. Let's think some about being, feeling, and doing better.
The more we practice properly, the more we flourish emotionally. It's that simple. Therefore, to live well emotionally, to avoid prolonged emotional distress for the rest of your life, master some classic meditative practice, training, discipline, such as aliveness awareness or zazen. All spiritual masters surrender, let go of, release attachment to thinking. Doing so automatically undermines the for me that we've seen to be the core of every emotion. Again, it's not necessary to become a sage to live well emotionally. Still, the more like a sage one becomes, the more one flourishes emotionally. The more one practices properly, the less egocentric one becomes. The less egocentric one becomes, the weaker the for me becomes. The weaker the for me becomes, the less intense, distressing emotions become. This not only automatically produces greater emotional serenity, but it also permits one to love better. In fact, again, it's even possible to love unconditionally without attaining sagehood. Remember that on the energy calibration scale developed by David Hawkins, sages are found at levels 600 and above. Unconditional love begins at 540. Although the possibility of love begins at 200, it really explodes at 500. Even if, today, you are just at 200, if you practice the method of surrendering properly, there's no reason you cannot jump up to 300, then to 400, then to 500 and above. So, the more we work on ourselves to dissolve our egocentricity, the better we feel emotionally, and the more capable of love we become. Why is becoming more capable of love beneficial? You can think of it as in your own self-interest. How? Here's the way the world works. If you want something, give it away. If you want a punch in the face, give one away. If you want people to gossip about you, gossip about them. If you want people to notice you, notice them. If you want people to be kind to you, be kind to them. If you want a friend, be a friend. In other words, give friendship to someone else. If you want to be loved, be a lover. In other words, give love to someone else. If you want to be deeply loved, and who doesn't, love someone else deeply. It's impossible to love someone else deeply while remaining egocentric. Loving is giving, it's not taking. The only way to love someone else deeply is to love that person by understanding and benefiting that other. And doing that is impossible while remaining attached to oneself. Therefore, deliberately diminishing your own egocentricity can lead to your being deeply loved. Perhaps I should add that sages don't think that way. Why? How do they think? They don't take others to be separate from themselves. They take others to be themselves. They identify with others. After all, the self-non-self distinction is conceptual. Without conceptual separation, there is no difference. So, for sages, loving others is loving themselves. Sages are the greatest lovers. Sages become sages by mastering the method of surrendering. Using the method of surrendering, rather than the method of thinking, is the key to living better. It's helpful to let sages encourage us to do that. In an attempt to encourage you to learn from sages rather than just from me, in subsequent videos I continue to introduce you to the teachings of various masters. Of course, if the ideas of a particular master resonate with you, there's no reason not to learn more on your own. Please, though, don't lose sight of the fact that everything you're learning is useless unless practiced. It's a mere distraction, a waste of time. Remember the rule. If it helps you to practice, keep learning. Especially when we get stuck, learning what sages teach can be a great motivator. It's no substitute, though, for practicing. So, daily, please work on yourself using aliveness awareness, zazen, or some similar classic meditative method. That's the route to emotional well-being. You don't have to become a sage yourself, but the more like them you become, the more you'll flourish emotionally. In the next video, we'll turn to Hakuin, the great modern Japanese grandmaster of Zen. Let's end emotional distress